Andrew, you hit on the offensive line, so why don't we just stay
Mm-hmm.
there? Uh, this is a situation where there's not necessarily on the roster a ton of transition, but based on what you outlined to me and what I remember of the 22 season, it's almost an influx of a whole other group of players just coming back from injuries.
Yeah, I think this is the one group when you look at the spring, and we did a preview on our own podcast this week about position groups to watch, and me and Carter Carls both talked about the offensive line being the number one position group that we were watching for two reasons. One, to get a sense of how healthy is everybody, how is everybody coming back from recoveries, because this group kind of got hit with the injury bug as bad as any position group last year. You had Jordan Spasevich Moko, who saw time at guard. He was lost for the year. Bryce Foster missed the beginning portion of the year with mono, then suffered a knee injury against Alabama. So he was out. Aki Agunbi missed time as well. Layden Robinson had a high ankle sprain that limited him most of the year. Trey Zune was battling some injuries as well. I mean, the list just went on and on and on. And so, one, this group needs to stay healthy this year. And two, they need to play better. That's the simple fact. They need to take that step. They brought Steve Adazio back for another year, but that group needs to take a step forward and needs to play more consistently. It's been an issue the past 2 years, and so it's probably going to be one of the things that folks are focused on the most this spring. You've got Cam Dewberry back for another year, heading into his sophomore year. He got to see quite a bit of action as a freshman. How does he kind of take a step forward? Is Trey Zune the answer at left tackle? He had ups and downs last year. Uh, he battled through some things, but was on the field. I think he still needs to take a step. And I know A&M feels really high about him. They feel he can be a really, really good player. The question is, can he kind of take that step forward? What happens at the center position? They had, injuries and inconsistency. We talked about the bad snaps between Matthew Wyckoff and Bryce Foster. I think it's important to get Bryce Foster back healthy and back on the field this year, and I think that would go a long ways towards kind of stabilizing that offensive line. I think it was huge having Layden Robinson come back for another year. Is a multi-year starter on that group. Just again, wasn't healthy last year, but is a guy that entering last year was on the first was a projected first rounder on many mock drafts, and didn't play up to how he wanted to play up to, and so he's coming back for another year. But when healthy, he's a really, really good player. And Ruben Fothery, kind of anchoring that other tackle spot, also another guy that has great size, great length. What kind of jump can he make? And so, I think they're really looking at those guys, and then they need to have some depth behind them as well.